Ladies and gentlemen, there is something that I want you to see, that there is actually a new religious organizations bill that is being proposed. This bill is being proposed that a fine of 5 million should be imposed on pastors who use miracles, blessings to extort Kenyans. Let me read it for you. This is actually courtesy of CitizenTv Kenya. So this is what the bill actually proposes. These are the contents of the bill. That any religious leader who falsely performs miracles, healings, or blessings to extort unsuspecting Kenyans will be guilty of committing an offense if the recommendations of a task force formed by President William Ruto are adopted. Actually, there was a task force that was formed in May 2023, and this task force was actually part of the move that churches need to be audited, especially because 400 people are actually alleged to have died in the Shakahola massacre that actually made Kenya hit the headlines. So because of what happened in Shakahola, there was serious outcry by the public. Why are people dying in the name of God? You see, I actually support the work of the church, but there are few wolves who have been hiding in the church in the name of God, masquerading themselves as sheep, and yet they are costing us millions of money, they are costing lives, and so these kind of wolves need to be dealt with. Now, let's continue with actually what the bill proposes. Is that the Presidential Task Force on the review of the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations in Kenya submitted recommendations to provide clarity on how religious institutions will be governed. So these proposals were included in the Religious Organizations Bill 2024. Now, one of the strategies recommended includes hunting down, okay, so you can see here, hunting down religious leaders who ask their congregation to give cash to earn financial favor from God. You see, I believe that giving is actually good. Giving is good because we give not to be blessed, but because we are blessed. I believe giving is something that should continue, but the way money has been handled in some of the churches is absolutely questionable, because there are people who have taken advantage of the giving of the people of God to extort money from Kenyans and to use that money for their foolish gains. I believe that the giving that people actually give in churches should be used for a good cause. Let us give money to finance the kingdom, to finance the work of evangelism, to support the poor, to help the needy. Actually, the Bible says that this is a noble work, those who support orphans and widows. So I believe that the money is there. Kenyans are good people. They can give as much as they want, but let the money that is given be used properly. Now let's continue. This bill is actually proposing that those who are found guilty will be required to pay 5 million or face a 10-year imprisonment or both. I don't know how the government will actually be determining that, this pastor is actually, manipulating people. I don't know how the government will do that, but it's a high time. It's a high time that we align things in the church. So the bill continues to propose that a religious leader who by any means of any force of fraudulent representations, tricks or schemes as to healing, miracles, blessings or prayers, or extorts or fraudulently obtains any financial gain or material benefit from any person, or induces the person to deliver money or property to the religious leader is guilty an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or to both, reads part of the bill. One of the things that I've actually realized is that when people come out and say that, we give this, usually it's not that the pastor forced you to give. No. It's just that they actually coerced you into giving and you eventually give. I've had cases of people who have given actually even their properties, others cars, others land, and later on they are now start reflecting and wondering, why did I actually do this? And before you know it, you've already given your property, your land and everything because of something called coercion. So you are not really forced to giving, but you are coerced or you're manipulated, or because of the notion that you should give to God. I believe the Bible actually says that we should be cheerful givers. It should not be forced, it should not be through coercion, it should be voluntary and out of the heart. Now let's continue. The bill actually also proposes that any religious leader who uses force, threats, or intimidation to coerce another person to join the religion will pay a fine not exceeding 1 million or a 3-year jail term or both. That's quite a hefty fine. 1 million? That's not little. On the other hand, the bill also proposes that parents will, however, be legally allowed to determine the religious upbringing of their children. On the other hand, anyone who uses religion to belittle another person's religious belief and does anything that threatens their safety will pay 5 million or 20 years imprisonment or both. I think this clause is something that tries to tell people or to actually protect the rights of people to their religion. Your religion should actually not belittle my religious beliefs. We should respect one another, because we have Muslims, Christians, atheists, Buddhists, Hindus. So I think this clause is trying to tell people, you need to respect other people's right to their own beliefs, which I'm thinking is okay. So let's respect one another. What I consider not right in my religion, please don't cross that boundary. Now the bill also goes on to say that the task force also recommended that churches should not engage in politics to gain power or organize a debate to support a political candidate. I think it's quite good to not involve politics in church. Let the church be for church matters. Of course, we usually, there are actually sermons that are related to good governance, because governance is close to the heart of God. Everything rises and falls on leadership, and there's actually the Bible verse that says that people go through oppression where there is bad leadership. So it is important to actually advocate for good governance, but not allow politics in church. Let us train and equip the people on what to look out for when choosing leaders, but let's not allow politicians in the house of God. Let's not allow politics in the house of God. Let's not allow politicians to actually donate their monies to the church in the name of supporting the work of God, because we don't know even where this money is coming from. Now the bill also goes on to say that if found guilty, the institution will pay a fine not exceeding 500,000 or 6 months imprisonment or both. Now the task force was formed in May 2023 to identify and seal loopholes that may have allowed the growth of religious cults in societies. Yes, so this task force, this is actually part of a report that has been handed over to the president. The task force was formed, as I had said, because of the pressure and the outcry from the public, especially after the Shakahola massacre tragedy that saw over 400 dead bodies exhumed from the poorest. Now you can see here it's saying that this task force was actually led by the National Council Churches of Kenya, Secretary General Dr. 𝗙𝗵𝗹. So I don't know about you, but I am glad that something is happening, because let me tell you, the number of people who have been hurt in church because there are people who have masqueraded themselves. You know, they are wolves they are actually wolves. Just that they have masqueraded themselves as sheep. Those are the kind of people who are costing us today, because there are so many people who don't want to go to church, people who don't want to be involved in church, people who are actually leaving church because they have been hurt by wolves in sheep's clothing. But at the heart of the matter is this question about giving. I support giving, but I usually advocate for giving out of the heart and giving in line with your capacity. In other words, you cannot give what you don't have, because I've seen people actually pledging and yet they do not have that money in the name of, I want to surprise God. I want to, support the work of ministry. If you don't have it, pray to God, go and work so that you can increase your capacity to give more. And let's make sure that what is being given is actually used properly. Let us make sure that what is being given is managed properly by those who are in charge. So giving is good, but let it be not from coercion, let it be voluntary, and let what is given be used, be accounted for, and be properly managed. So that's it for today, guys. I don't know what you have to say. If you have something to say, put it in the comment section. My name is James. See you in the next video. God bless.